That off. Turn this on, and we are gonna go, guys. Here we go.
You're watching PTZOptics Live, a 1080p broadcast available exclusively on YouTube Live every Friday, streaming at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Broadcast quality made affordable. Thank you for tuning in.
Welcome to PTZOptics Live. Happy Friday, everybody.
Friday.
Woohoo, it's Friday.
I'm Tess Protesto.
And I'm Paul Richards, and we're joined with Nick Smith. How you doing, Nick? Oh, Nick, we're not getting your audio. Not sure why, but I do have your audio on. I'm sure we'll get...
My bad. I muted myself so you didn't listen to me jaw on in between.
No worries.
There's always a simple explanation for our tech issues. Well, we live stream every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And today we are live streaming to both Facebook and YouTube, and in the legalist way possible, having Tess actually managing our Facebook. It's a unique test stream to Facebook.
It is, and I almost did something dangerous, but I figured I wouldn't. I was going to put bunny ears on Paul. I figured that wasn't too polite, but we'll have to share that next time.
Yeah, that was funny.
Funny
she was doing that in the pre-show, and I didn't know what was going on. If you've been under a rock, you might not have known that we did release some NDI camera models with a firmware upgrade that's 50% off for the month of August until we start shipping. We have something new coming out, which is a World Studio Tour. So that means we're going to be touring the world of all different video production live streaming studios, and we'd love for you to be a part of it. You can go to worldstudiotour.com, and if you've got a cool studio that you want to be on our tour, just submit the form and we'll put you on there. Also wanted to mention, if you are an audiovisual integrator, a broadcast dealer, we have a partner channel stream that's coming up, not this upcoming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, August 15th. And that'll be at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, same time as now. So we're really excited about all of that. We were going to take you into the lightning round, Nick, but you were actually on the show just a couple weeks ago. We were talking about the NDI camera, so we can spare you, I think.
Fair enough.
So let's start. Tess, go ahead and start with her social media update of the week.
Alrighty, hey guys, how you doing? Tess here. We're going to start off this week with our Instagram post of the week. We did see quite a few people have tagged us in pictures this week, and we appreciate that, and we love you. This week's picture is from Old Savannah Baptist Church. Want to make sure I didn't mess that up. Love how they put a cute little filter and graphic over this image of our PTZOptics camera. Thanks for sharing, guys. Moving on to our Facebook user group and our Facebook page in general, we want to welcome everybody that is new this week to the family. Thank you guys so much for participating. Our user group is something that we're really trying to promote right now because we want people to join our community. We want you to participate by, sending in a video question that you might have. Everybody in this group seems to be really helpful with one another. We want to answer your questions, and we also just want to know what you are doing with live streaming. So if you have a fun picture or cool tech gear that you want to share with us, make sure you do that in the user group. Again, if you want to join the user group and you haven't yet, head over to facebook.com/groups/PTZOpticsPals. Head over there and we can continue the conversation today. So thanks again to everybody who just joined the group. Hopefully you see your name right next to me if you did recently join. Alrighty, you may have seen, if you are part of the user group, that I asked a poll to you guys of what you want to see on the show next week. Paul is not going to be here. He's going to be on vacay, so I'm taking things over myself. I offered you guys a few options. If you wanted to see something about concert streaming, you might know I recently did a concert stream. We're going to be able to talk about that. I said a studio tour or just our typical routine where we invite a guest and talk about their gear, but the overwhelming majority of you want to talk about concert streaming, so I just want to let you guys know that's what we're going to be talking about next week, and I'm going to have my partner Steve from Stream Geeks join me in the studio to talk about that experience and to hopefully get feedback of your guys' experience too with live streaming music. All right, one more thing. Since we are doing a Instagram post of the week, we figured we'd do a Facebook post of the week. And since we've been talking so much about the user group, we wanted to just share a perfect example of how we want you guys to participate in this user group. Our friend Lewis posted some actual footage he has of from the PTZOptics cameras. Great production he did. I wanted to show some love to him for sharing that. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the chat.
There is
one more
just one thing.
What?
The user group question, the Facebook user group question.
Oh, well then there's two more things.
Oh, there's two more things.
Okay, so we're doing the Facebook user group question. Live reaction poll.
Live reaction
okay.
question. Yes.
All right, sorry, got confused there for a second. We're going to do multiple live reaction questions today. So if you want to participate in the first one, the first question is, have you joined the group yet? Have you joined the Facebook user group yet? If you have, press the thumbs up. If you haven't, press the sad face. So go ahead to Facebook. The link is in the description on YouTube if you want to participate in that question. And I did have to give shout out to Dan from X Keys for sending me my vMix mouse pad.
I have
really
my X
appreciated
Keys
that.
one over here.
Yeah, and we got some X Keys ones and some stickers. So thank you for sending me that. Finally, yes. I have one because I was jealous of Paul for having his vMix mouse pad this whole time.
I know. And
ooh, that was a mouthful.
That was a mouthful. Wow. We have a lot to talk about today. So let's jump right into it. We have a nice agenda for the show today I'm really excited about. Nick has basically a grab bag of tech toys that we're all kind of excited about. So, Nick, let's just go ahead and start with your tech toys that you've got. What do we have to talk about today?
Oh man, I've got the war chest of toys today. It's been like Christmas up here this last 2 weeks with all kinds of fun things coming and going. So wherever you want to start, if you want to start on Sling, if we want to talk, yeah, let's probably start with that. And
okay, cool.
So Sling Studio, we got one in. We have it here. I'm prepared to show it if we want to show it. We can. Yeah. A couple of little issues, and this is probably good things for people to know. So here is the main unit right here. It's pretty small. It's very lightweight. It has an external battery pack. So if we want to plug a battery pack into it and go entirely remote, you can. You've got a single HDMI input and HDMI output right there on the box, so you get one monitored view of your program, and then you have a local source that you can input, like a computer or a camera that's very close to the unit. It has dual Wi-Fi. This is really cool. So you've got two Wi-Fi hotspots built into this. One designed to connect to your existing network, and one designed to connect to the wireless modules that you can buy with it. And you can get up to 4 of these wireless modules, because you can only have 4 total sources in your workflow at any one time. And then you've got this external device here for connecting up USB storage for external recording. Plus, let's go a little further, we've got a SD card slot in here as well for localized recording. Now, a couple of gotchas that we ran into right away when we started setting this thing up. Notice on your camera module, it's USB for charging, which is fine, and it's got a battery pack in it, and we can see when we light it up, it's actually gonna, there we go, we're full power on this. But the bigger problem is, notice that HDMI port. Yeah, that little tiny one right there. So they deliver an HDMI cable with it that is a micro cable to mini HDMI. So really, they've pointed this thing at consumer-based cameras, because very few of the more professional style cameras are going to have this mini HDMI connector. And so you're going to need to buy a, if you've got anything more professional like a PTZOptics cam, or anybody else, and we tried it with our JVC, and of course we didn't have the right cable, which was a bit of a frustration on our part, because you need the micro to full size, or you have to buy a lot of adapters. So gotcha number 1 right there. Do your research on your cables and make sure you get the right cables to connect to it. The same for the output or the input on the backside here for the local HDMI source. It's micro or mini to full size, and they give you that cable, so you're good there for that one. So that was gotcha number 1. Gotcha number 2 is, and this is something I'm hoping that they overcome, they haven't given an actual announcement yet as to when they're going to fix this, but it's iPads and only for connectivity. So you can stream from an iPhone, you can stream from an iPad, and you can control it from an iPad, but no Android software, no Windows software, and no Mac native software. So your investment in this, while looks really inexpensive, $1,000 for the main unit, a couple hundred for the externals, for each of the different components, you're about $2,000 all in. But then you also have to ensure you've got all iOS devices floating around. So you got to go pick up iPhones if you don't have them. You got to get a tablet, and any of the newer ones. They're not working on a lot of the older ones at this point. So the gotcha number 2 is make sure you've got iOS devices. If you're an Android fan like I am, you're sort of out of luck at this time until they update and they give us apps on that platform. So that's where we're at. So I'm waiting for an iPad to come in because I'm an iOS agnostic here in terms of I'm agnostic to iOS and I love my Androids. And none of my compadres in the office this week had iPads with them either, which was a little bit of a frustration on our part. So that's where we're at with this. Other than that, setup has been fairly breeze, syncing the 2 units together, getting it on the network, getting it connected, but no luck yet really getting into the interface and GUI and having severe fun with it.
So, and we're going to be doing something new during the show. Tess is actually going to be rolling some live reactions questions to your products, because this is one of those products to me where it's like, is it too good to be true? Like everything wireless, $1,000, like it seems amazing. So let's go ahead and ask our question, Tess, to the audience.
Alrighty, Sling Studio versus software or PC and Mac. What do you say? Do you like the wireless mobile necessity?
Or are you going to stick with your, Wirecast or vMix or TriCaster? That's the question.
I mean, having been on this and had this very similar conversation in the past, I'm a big fan of anything wired. I like it wired. I like it consistent so I can ensure cabling. I'm always nervous about anything going wireless.
Yeah.
But proof is going to be in the pudding. I think the bandwidth that they're using, the fact that they've got their own Wi-Fi hub set in so that this is not going across other traffic or there's other traffic engaged other than the control. And even the streaming goes over the second Wi-Fi port. So I think those are all good things that they've thought through to ensure that you get the best productivity. But I'm always nervous of anything that's purely wireless.
Yeah, that's what I think a lot of people feel nervous. We got one reaction so far saying, they're going to stick with their PC or Mac. But a lot of buzz around this. It's from Dish Networks, which is an interesting, part. So you're becoming a distributor and you're working directly with Dish?
We're working directly with the guys at Sling Studio, which is a division of Dish.
Okay.
Sling is this is built by Sling, and the guys there, really wanted to, now that they're a heavy streaming company. I mean, the Sling box that's always sat on top of Dish Networks, or the original Sling, took content off of a local DVR and put it onto the internet, onto the iPad. So they're not new to the streaming game by any measure. They're just new to the production side of business. And I think out of the gate, this is a great first shot across the bow for consumers or small schools or people who don't have the cash flow who want to get up and running very, very quickly in a very easy manner. You get some graphics transitions, you get multi-channel recording. There's a lot in the box for the money, really and truly.
Yeah, and that's that lower budget entry level market is the fastest growing market. These people need to get their toes wet, and I think it's a great option. So I'm all for it. I think it's awesome. You've got some other products
and
there.
If you think about Paul, one more thing. If you think about it in terms of like a Wirecast software or anything else, you're actually going to be more expensive because you got to buy a laptop, then you buy the software, then you're getting input cards. So for the money, you could actually be up and running with this very fast, probably at a lower cost, other than the inclusion of the iOS devices, which hurts the most. I think that's your trade-off for having a computer.
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's early days. Someone, Zelduro's saying that there was a YouTuber who made a detailed review about it, but just saying it's a little too expensive. We'd like to see it be a little less expensive. All
right, so the next Facebook Live reaction question we have involving one more on the Studio wireless device. Is this a fad or the future? Are people going to be carrying around their studios out to events with them simply in a backpack, or is this sort of just a passing by trend?
So again, another Facebook Live reaction question. Tess is bringing the engagement over to Facebook. I wish we could do this with YouTube, but it gives us a little bit of an idea.
yes and maybe no, and it depends on the user. I mean, I mean, come on, if you're out at a coffee shop and your band's playing and you want to live stream your band, why wouldn't you take this box with you? You know, and the fact that it's got its own battery packs and you don't even have to ask the coffee shop owner for some electricity other than, you know, maybe your cameras, you're up and running in no time flat. You can record an event and shoot it out, and it's, you know, I mean, the way this thing, even the base unit itself has a quarter 20 on it. If we swap over here, so I can mount this to a tripod and, you know, or have it on an arm of my tripod. So I mean, it's really built to go completely mobile and be out there on the road doing events. Yeah.
Looks like we're getting some votes for it is the future. One vote for it being a fad. And I guess before we move on, though, I do want to ask you, what is the wireless range on these things?
I have not been able to test that yet. So specs are, you know, they're using wireless N. I don't see any external antennas on it. The antennas have to be embedded in. So, you know, I'll hold on that comment until I actually get to test it.
El Duro is saying you can only stream to YouTube and Facebook. There's no custom RTMP support at this time?
As of right now.
Yeah, and that's something that we've seen, like even with the Mevo cams, you know, that was it for the beginning, and then they added custom RTMP later. You know, that's something that usually happens. So let's talk about your Talon, because we've got a couple more minutes before we go into the post show. You've got another product, brand new, from Osprey.
Let's just hit a couple of things. Yeah, so I got some cool toys from the guys up at Osprey that I wanted to hit for people. Everybody needs a converter. So here is a, you know, an SDI or an SDI to HDMI converter, a couple $100. It's got audio splitting on it. And my favorite feature of this is not just the size of it, but the fact that the power supply is micro USB. So, you know, if you've ever bought an AJA or a Blackmagic and you lost the power supply and you're out in the field and you're just kind of like, well, I guess we're not doing production today. You know, everybody's got a USB charger in their bag and can grab that and throw it down. And then here is an alternate version of it. And I want to show the size of this little guy right here. So this is HDMI in, SDI out with 2 ports. And the same thing on this one, a little micro USB here for power. So again, you'll never be without power on these little guys because everybody's got a couple of those cables or chargers or any USB charger in their bag. And this little guy here retails for under $100. So if you need HDMI to SDI or SDI to HDMI for less than 100, and I want to show you guys a little something here. We're actually using, if I zoom out, let me hit the right camera here. If we zoom out, I've got over here feeding in from my TriCaster. We've got the SDI to HDMI version so that I can get it into this USB bridge. So this is USB 3 HDMI with audio and video coming into my computer so that I can stream out from my TriCaster to you guys. So this whole little kit is very inexpensive. And these are just powerful little tools that are available to fix problems in the workflow.
Yeah, it's great to know that just like stuff like that's out there right now. Under $100. Perfect.
So let's go a little bit deeper here. So we're going to go a little unboxing show and pull that. This is the Talon. This is not new. Thank you. This is not new. There's just an updated version that is shipping here in the next week. This is the Talon from Osprey. It is a 2-channel encoder. And when I say 2 channels, if we look on the front panel here, we've got HDMI and SDI, and you've got an additional composite there if you need to do closed captions. Simple on-off switch. There is, this unit here doesn't have the front panel screen, but the new G2 has a front panel screen, so you can actually see settings, control it, and manage the unit. Other than that, it's a web GUI. RTMP, RTSP, all the flavors of the rainbow, including Facebook and YouTube built in, so you just have to put in your credentials and you're ready to go. It's all here, and these are under $2,000, well under $2,000 for a 2-channel encoder. So if you're a church and you're wanting to do people plus content, which is an old comment from the video conferencing day, whereas I want to send the presentation plus the pastor, this is a great encoder for it because we've got HDMI coming from the presentation computer and SDI coming from your switcher or your camera, and now you've got both ports streaming out live right to YouTube, Facebook, wherever you want to be. There is also a decoder version of this if you want to locally stream on your own network and then pop it out to a TV. And you can do picture-in-picture effects with it, all kinds of fun stuff. So these are phenomenal. What I love about them is they're hard-baked Linux appliances. They're super sturdy. There's a little rack mount kit that will stand it up and allow you to strap it down to something. And they're really inexpensive in terms of a 2-channel encoder. There's also a 3-channel version with the composite being available to use as well. Cool little box, man. And for the money, notice the USB port as well. You can record local. So you can set up a couple, do H.264 encodes right to either a USB drive on the local, plug directly into the box.
Very interesting, and I feel like we've almost covered out all of our stuff except for the GoPros, which maybe we could do.
Okay.
Do you want to run into that
really
real quick?
fast? Really fast. Okay, so this is the coolest piece of tech I've played with in a little while. So we're going to come back to the table here. Okay, so anybody who's ever shot with GoPros or done a multi-camera GoPro shoot, one of the major issues is you put them places, you need to run out and turn them on, turn them off. If you're doing long form records, you probably fill up the card. So there's a little backpack on this GoPro unit here. This is a Wi-Fi backpack that snaps onto your GoPro 4. Once there, it allows me with this unit right here to wirelessly control as up to 30 simultaneous GoPros in groups, turn them on so I can turn them off so I can conserve battery power, start recording, stop recording so I can conserve SD cards, and time code sync them. That's the most amazing part of all. So if I'm doing a multicam shoot and I want to sync the time code on all these units, we get unified time code across all these boxes. Plus, there's now an additional module that looks like this that we can connect to other cameras to synchronize those cameras to the same time code feed. Now, when we bring that into edit, it's seamless, it's simple editing, and which has always been a problem with GoPros in the past. So it's, this gives the GoPro a whole new life.
Awesome. I'm very excited to see that all working. And I guess it's time to go ahead and jump right into the post show. We got a lot of questions for you that came in. And we've got a couple new things that we didn't even get a chance to talk about. So I'm excited. Hold on for the post show, everybody. Here we go.
And that's all, folks. We appreciate your participation in the chat room and can't wait to host our next informative Q&A session. Your questions drive the conversation forward for live streaming professionals around the world. Until next time, happy streaming!